and welcome to Reimagining Education, a podcast from Michigan International Prep School. I'm your host, Eric Van Houten, and with me today is Mr. Christopher Card. Chris, how are we doing?
I'm doing awesome. It's so good to be with you today, Eric.
Yeah, it's going to be a real exciting one. Chris is the Director of the Arts. Is that the correct title we got?
Director of the Arts for Michigan International Prep School. I love it.
There we go. It's a good title, and I'm excited to have you here too, because we're talking a lot about the arts and music, and it's different than what we did last year, and it's obviously very unique and special to online school as well.
Yeah, I would say it's one of the more difficult things in online education is to do those electives, if you will. You know, how do you bring the arts in a virtual environment? And MIPS is there to explore how and how well we can do it. So it's really exciting to be able to bring the arts to MIPS.
I love that. And our first episode of the podcast and our goal so far this year is to explain how we are unique and extraordinary. And this is definitely one of those areas. So I want to ask you right off the bat of how did we get here? You know, how are you here and what kind of stuff are you doing?
Sure. You know, I think partnerships come along because of relationships. And so I'm here because of a relationship with the leadership of Michigan International Prep School. So I got a call, hey, you know, have you ever thought about, you know, coming to bring your program online? And so we just started talking about the possibilities. And he said, so what are your ideas? And it's like, this kind of thing hasn't been done before. And that was something that drew me to this opportunity. But again, my being at Michigan International Prep School is because of a relationship with the leadership of MIPS, and we'd worked together in the past. And so we started getting talking, what would it look like to develop an never before seen arts program delivered completely online. And so that's just been an exciting conversation that's turned into an exciting reality of putting things into place. And really, like you said, it's not something that's done. And so there's no, hey, this is how they did it, we can do it the same way kind of thing. We're pioneering a way of doing business. And yeah, people have done lessons online, stuff like that, but we're far exceeding what that can look like for a class to go through a curriculum together online, as well as just individuals. So it all started from relationships with the leadership at MIPS, started from a dream, and now it's becoming a reality.
I like that. So it's not even we had some music or art classes and you were here to take it over. It's online schools don't have this.
Correct.
Let's start it.
Yes.
So what kind of stuff do you do then? I know it's different than last year and it'll keep changing, but what kind of arts things do we do and do we offer?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, for those students that are familiar with Michigan International Prep School, because you were a student last year, you probably heard about our School of Music, where we offered music studies in piano, voice, guitar, and we had a music and movies course. And I know you had some students that were part of that course. It was a great time with them. And so we started off with music as part of our School of the Arts offerings, just to get a year one going and learning how that works. And it was quite exciting to see how students could really grow their abilities through a completely online environment. So we did an exit survey of our students. How was this year for you? Did it meet your expectations? Did it exceed them? 100% of our students that were in our School of Music said it met and exceeded their expectations, which is cool. 95% of our students from last year said that they got better at their art than they ever thought they could. And that was really exciting to us, because that's our mission, is to, we put here, discover your creative potential with one of our School of the Arts courses. And so for our students to tell us after a year of study that they really didn't realize they could be such a good piano player, such a good singer, such a guitar player, that really is cool. And so we want to spread that. And that was always the plan, was to go beyond music. Music was just our first step, right? And so this year, with just a huge commitment from MIPS leadership, we are really growing the program from, we had 8 music courses last year, Eric, right? This year we have 25 arts courses. So we went our School of the Arts from 8 courses in 1 year overnight to 25 courses that will be offered in music, art, and in theater. And this is for students K-12. So you don't have to just be, some schools offer a high school piano class, right?
Yeah.
But not something for fifth graders or middle schoolers. And none of them will deliver a piano around the state because you don't have one. And here, let's bring you a piano, or here's a guitar you can use for this class. So there's just some things that we are innovating how to do it, but we're putting all the tools in the right place to be able to do it. So what are we offering this year? We're offering courses in K-12 music, and we continue to offer piano, voice, and guitar. And that's for the secondary levels for those grades. And one of the exciting things with those, Eric, is students get free one-on-one lessons. And that's something you just don't find. You're paying money to be with an expert instructor, and we do have expert instructors that are MIPS teachers. And so we're just really pleased that we can say, hey, you're part of the MIPS family. We're going to love you like nobody else does. And we're going to give you opportunities like nobody else does. And for the arts, that means stuff like free lessons. Our elementary music students will get free instruments sent to their house. They'll get this little kit, and then their teacher will say, hey, take out this instrument. You know, we're going to learn how to play it this week. Our art students, kindergarten through 12th grade, will be receiving free art kits depending on what art class they're in. So they'll get a sketchbook, a really nice sketchbook, and all the pencils and coloring tools and painting tools they need for that course. So it's really neat that I think MIPS doesn't just want to do something. They want to set the standard for how to do it.
I love that. And when you said that, I was thinking about how I was in a brick and mortar school, right? And I learned how to play the recorder in fourth grade. Do they still do that?
Well, that's each one of our students is going to get a recorder in our fourth and fifth grades. And it's cool too, because we're not just giving them a recorder, they get to keep it. Right. So back when I was a student, I had to buy mine if I wanted it.
Or give it back, right?
Yeah, or give it back. And I wanted one that somebody else used, right? And so, but we've got ours are different flavors. So we got green. You don't eat it.
I get you.
The colors, flavors. So lime and grape and
Yeah, we learned that in fourth grade. And then in middle school, we had the option to do orchestra or concert band, and that was it. And I always wanted to play the piano. I tried to teach myself the guitar. I wish I was a better singer, but so not only do we have more unique, or let's say more desirable music classes, but the one-on-one is huge. Yeah. Because you don't even get that in a brick and mortar.
No. You'll take a class, just like other classes, you're kind of lumped in and you're at the pace of the whole class. Yeah. And the beautiful thing with one-on-one lessons is you're at the pace you need to be. Some students aren't challenged enough. Some are challenged too much. So finding that right spot, that's where our private lessons really pay off, because we're able to, just like we want to do with all of MIPS, make sure everybody's education is catered to who they are, their strengths and weaknesses. That's what we do in the arts too with the music program, is just give them that one-on-one, and that they go. That's where they go further than they thought they would.
Oh, absolutely. I know I had a couple guitar students who started not at the beginning level and they just shot forward.
Yeah.
Super crazy. So I cut you off there earlier. We did the K-12 music. We did piano, guitar, voice lessons. I see a lot more on the list behind me. What other classes are we hoping to have? Yeah,
well, I guess let's break it up by grade, and maybe that's a good way to do it. So in our elementary, we have something called creative arts. So this is kindergarten through fifth grade, and they're based by grade. So the kindergartners aren't with the fifth graders or anything. But in our creative arts, they can choose 2 of 3 options, 2 subjects out of 3. So one semester, they'll take one of their choices, and the next semester, another one. And their choices are theater, art, or music. And so they're like, because we want them to discover what they maybe didn't know, that, I can be an actor, or, I can do music, or I can do art. I'm okay at this kind of thing. And then as they go through the years, we can give them more advanced offerings to kind of fan that art into flame or whatever. Yeah. So our elementary students get that choice of art, theater, or music, 2 of those 3 options. So they could choose art and theater, or music and theater, or music and art. And so that's what we offer to our kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades. Our 5th grade can take 2 of those courses, or they can start our piano program. So as a 5th grader, we're letting them to jump into our secondary level piano instruction, where they will take a piano class with one-on-one free lessons and learn how to play the piano. So we start that off in 5th grade. So those 5th graders can choose, rather than taking the creative arts course, to just kind of focus on piano if they know that's something they really want to go into. So that's our elementary grades. And we're super excited about that because, there's things that elementary schools, brick and mortars that you mentioned, offer. Brick and mortars have art class, they have music class and stuff. But the cool thing is when you can do all those things in your living room. Yeah. And that art kit is there for you at night to work on, just as like when you were in that live Zoom session with your art teacher earlier in the day. So we're super excited about it. And I got to tell you, we got the best art teacher, theater instructor, and music instructor for our elementary students you can find. These guys are just great. These ladies are phenomenal at what they do. They're veterans, they're experts, and they just are really good at loving on kids and bringing out their potential.
That's cool. So, catch us up there of one-on-ones.
Yeah.
A ton of options.
Yes.
Great instructors. You can do it at home, but you still get physical, actual materials that are better than what you have to rent or loan from a brick and mortar.
Yeah, you don't need to go to Walmart and get your school kit. We send it to you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Which is a concern. Sometimes we got online school of, all right, everything's in front of a computer. You can take piano if you got access to a piano.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't got access to a piano, we give you one.
We deliver one to your house.
Deliver it right to your house.
We do have, they're not for free, but they are the cheapest rentals that you can find out there, because we decided we don't want to make money on it, but we want to make these pianos available.
Yeah.
So MIPS buys pianos every year. These are digital pianos that are great because you can practice on headphones, in the middle of the night. Nobody's being disturbed and stuff. Don't have to tune them. So they're really great for individual piano practice. But we deliver them most places around the state for people that can rent these. And if you need one, we'll find a way to get one to you.
I love it.
Yeah. At middle school, we have 2 art classes, and these are brand new this year. So we have drawing and painting, which is going to be a great art class. We know so many of our MIPS students really like to draw and paint. And so we got a class for middle schoolers, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade to take drawing and painting. And then we have a digital art class in middle school, and students that are enrolled with that class will get an iPad to use at home. And so instead of the MIPS Chromebook, they'll have this iPad because they can do all their digital design, right? Yeah. For the class right there on the iPad. So we're super excited about that opportunity for this year. So we have 2 art classes. We've got middle school theater. We have a new music course for middle schoolers called Appreciating Music. And this is cool. This class is, hey, what do you listen to during your day? Well, that's what we're going to study in this class, kind of thing. So it's not just listening to that classical music. Maybe we'll do a little of that and you'll appreciate, things you didn't know about it. But really it's about the impact of music on your life. And our new music instructor, Miss Noose, is a great master teacher who's going to be teaching that course, and her students are going to have a blast in that course. And then we offer those voice, piano, and guitar lessons at middle school as well. Free lessons, group instruction with master teachers is pretty cool.
I love that. Well, so I have a question for you, because I think that we're all going to be wondering it, and I've heard you talk about the music and the arts programs before. I'm curious why you say theater and not theater.
I don't know. I guess it's the theater family you came from or whatever. Theater. What are the 2 ways of saying it?
I feel like you say it like theater or something like that. It sounds much more proper or professional, I think. But
yeah, I don't know. I guess I grew up going to the theater. So
there we go.
I don't know. No, it's I guess when you're in the theater, you know it as the theater.
There we go. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we got to middle school.
Speaking of theater, can I tell you something about theater?
Yeah.
This year, to go with our theater program, we are putting on a play. Yeah, so some schools have plays and musicals and stuff. Well, MIPS is getting in on that. We're having our first ever play this year, and it is going to be virtual. What's the cool thing about virtual is that you can be in Alpena, you can be in Detroit, you can be in Grand Rapids, you can be in the UP, you can be anywhere in the state and still participate in this play, right? Because if it's virtual. And we can put on local productions, but some students wouldn't be able to do that, right? And so we've decided that this year's play is going to be all virtual, so students can audition for it. This is a middle school, high school play. It's called Virtually Ever After. So fairy tale characters that are set in a modern day environment, and it's a really funny production. And we're going to have auditions in December, and rehearsals start in January. They're online virtual rehearsals where the students get together with their director, Miss Miran, and then they'll do a taping week where everybody tapes their part, and then there's post-production where all the parts get put together, and then there'll be a big night where it goes live. And so people can tune in live and they can see our first ever MIPS play. Super excited about that.
That is very cool.
Any student at MIPS, you don't have to be in the theater program, but any student will put the word out, can audition for that to be Little Red Riding Hood. That's probably your dream part, isn't it?
It is
Prince
mine.
Charming. Prince Charming. There you go.
I'll be the wolf.
Oh, the wolf. Actually, yeah, we're looking for a wolf. We'll have a cameo spot by Eric here. Yeah,
love it.
That'd be cool.
All right, we almost made it to high school, I think.
Almost, yeah. So high school is that opportunity to really just see in music, art, and theater, I've really enjoyed this. Let me see how far I can go with it. So you can just be casually interested. We'll take you there. But if you're really, really focused in that, this is where your one-on-one instructor can really get you that extra mile, where you can go from beginning to intermediate to advanced based on your ability, your motivation. And that's where high school can really get you prepared for college if that's something you want to go into. But regardless, it's just a great opportunity for you to discover, I just like singing. I like playing piano. I like playing guitar. And we have this course for high schoolers called Music and Movies. And I don't know who doesn't like music, and I don't know who doesn't like movies. You put the two together, and it's a really, really cool class.
The dream class.
It really is. You get together, watch movie clips together, and talk about it. It's pretty cool. So we have that class for high schoolers. And so art is going to be for this year a club at high school. So we don't have an art class for high schoolers. Hang on, high school students, we'll have one for you next year. We know the art program is going to grow like gangbusters, just like the music program has. And so we're planning already on hiring another art instructor a year from now. So we'll have some really heavy hitting art classes in the high school level. But for now, we don't want to leave our high school art students alone. So we will have an art club that Miss Fleet, our art instructor, has graciously agreed to teach, and they're going to have a blast together.
I love it. And I know all of those things are just they're going to explode. Piano and guitar, I remember when we learned that you were going to offer piano and guitar with one-on-one lessons, or put it out there, see what students might want to do it.
Right.
And it filled up completely, right, to where we couldn't take any more students almost immediately. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. So before we get to a win, I just want to know, these art classes, even though it's new and we got a lot of new offerings, new teachers, very cool things that are happening this year. How have you seen the art program, or I guess last year it was the music program, impact students? Other than just doing something they enjoy, how has it impacted students?
Well, that's a great question, Eric, and I so appreciate it. And in some levels, I can't tell personal stories with specifics, but I can tell you that people have, one of the components of our arts courses is community. Community, art, theater, music breeds community. When you start talking about theater, when you start talking about your music, it's easy to form relationships, friendships, you know? So I know some of our students have just become such stronger individuals because they're part of a caring community. And that's a huge part. That has nothing to do with music, art, and theater, but music, art, and theater are a great way for students to be put into a family, a community where they are cared for, accepted, not just by their teachers, but by fellow students. And most of our students, if not all of them, quickly say how much they appreciate that community that they get part of. That I've got friends, I get to see my friends, and my friends in Traverse City, my friends in Detroit, my friends in Grand Rapids, they're all over the state. I got friends now. And so that's one of the ways that dramatically we've seen an impact in students' lives. And they'll tell you that, is that I've got friends. I'm stuck in my living room, but I've got friends. It's okay. I've got people I can message and talk to and meet with, and they're across the state. And that's a powerful thing. So that's one thing. We've got students that their parents have told me they've never been so disciplined in their life. My son sits down and plays the piano for an hour a day, a parent tells me, and I can't get him to sit down and do anything for 5 minutes. But here he's sitting at the piano, playing the piano for an hour a day as a fifth grader. So we're seeing stuff like that. We know studies show that the arts are uniquely good for kids. What do we mean by that? Studies have shown that test scores go up when they're involved in the arts. Just by the fact that they discipline themselves to learn an art. That takes repetition, learning from failure. And so I failed, I didn't get it right. I keep going. That's practice, right? You rehearse that over and over, and then you form these neural pathways through discipline to be able to accomplish something. Well, that transfers to other areas of life, right? That always staying at an instrument dealing with the failure of messing up till you get it right, coached by your teacher who says, don't give up, you got this. And then you start doing this music you never thought you're possible of, this art or this drama production, that transfers to life where you develop confidence. You get friends, you get confidence, and it sharpens the mind. So we've seen really, really powerful testimonials of how effective the music program was last year. And we're confident that our art, theater, and expanded music courses will offer the same for our students this year.
Yeah, I would love to at some point, maybe in a future episode, maybe talk about some of the research that goes behind that, because it's a trend that we saw a little bit of, moving away from the arts and the creative elective classes, but something that is unique, I think, and so important, and that this shows about MIPS in particular, is valuing extremely not just the arts, but that creative side of students, and how some of the research shows that the more creative outlets, art, theater, music, that you get for a student, the more successful, like you said, they become not only in school but in life afterwards. It's the discipline, it's the community, and it's the creativity. So
you hit it right there. Discipline, creativity, and community. I mean, those things are brought out through a number of different things. Sports can bring some of those things to be, so that's one area. But the beautiful thing about the arts is there is a connection between both sides of the brains that doesn't happen elsewhere. And also, as you start talking about music is math is music, science and music, all these disciplines connect through the arts, which is a really, really cool thing. And our instructors are such great teachers. They're going to be collaborating with our science teacher, with our math teachers, with our English teachers. And so our students are going to see that MIPS is a family of educators that really connects their education together. Music, art, theater, science, math, social studies, all those elements really weave together to create what we might call well-developed child, somebody who's balanced, mentally, emotionally, socially, physically.
I love that. That sounds like we've got lots of episodes where we can talk about this and go deeper. Because I've seen when we've done open houses, when we've advertised, when people have come and asked us about MIPS, music and art draws them in because they know their students want to do it. Yeah. In online school, you usually think less opportunity, but here at MIPS, more opportunity. Yeah. I love that. Well, if you didn't know, hopefully you knew, or if you're listening and you didn't know, I like to end every single episode of this podcast
with a song.
Maybe next year I'll have to take vocal lessons and then try it. But no, we end every episode with a win, right? There's something we do at staff, between staff, of talking about something that we've seen that makes us value what we do or see why we do what we do. Just a success story, maybe, or a relational story. But do you have a win recently that you'd be willing to share?
Well, so many come to mind, and we're on summer break, so I haven't been actively working with students, the last couple months, just preparing for them to come back, because we're all excited about that. But again, I think the biggest win I can think of is the message that a student sent at the end of last year that said, she said, I got to think through the words, what she said. Until I met this group of students, I didn't feel accepted in life, but now I do. And I just think that's huge.
Yeah, that's about as win as a win can get.
It is, because until that puts in place, maybe a student isn't as motivated to learn, right?
Yeah.
So I do think MIPS gets that right. We care about education, but we care about the kids as much as their education. There's a balance between the two, because if we're not good for you educationally, then we failed, because we're a school. But also, if we don't care about you the way that we can and should, then we're not effective at the education.
Yeah. Well, Chris, where can parents or students or families go to learn more about this and maybe some of the specifics, or how to contact you?
There's certainly a lot of specifics, and they can be found at mipreparts.org. mipreparts.org. I bet you can throw it right on the screen.
Absolutely
here. mipreparts.org is a source to find about all those classes, and you can meet the teachers on that website. And we hope you check that out so you can see what can be in store for you.
I love it. Well, Chris, thank you for taking the time away from a busy art schedule and having this conversation with me. And I know that you've got a lot of information going out, enrollment coming up, students that you're talking to. But thank you for taking the time to explain what we're doing. And it was good to see you again.
It's my pleasure. And I hope we can create some opportunities for your kids here at MIPS in the arts.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're interested in enrollment, or you just want to get to know us and what we do a little bit better, head over to our website at miprepschool.org. That's miprepschool.org. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We will talk to you soon.